Okay, so we're going to learn how to do vector art in Photoshop. So I provided you with an image of Albert Einstein. So as always, we're going to make a copy of our base layer. So now we have Albert Einstein copy. Turn off the bottom layer, and we're going to go to our quick selection tool, which is over here. You guys are all familiar with that from the last exercise. And just like in the last exercise, we're going to say select subject. And then we're going to create a layer mask. Okay, so that should all look familiar to you. So once we have our layer mask set, we're going to create a hue saturation adjustment layer. So that is, here is our adjustment layers. This half circle is black and white. And we're going to go to hue saturation. And here, our saturation window, we're going to take our saturation down to 0. So now we have a black and white image of Albert Einstein. So now we're going to go and create another adjustment layer. It's going to be a solid color. And let's keep it with the green. It just happened to come up for me. It's going to be different for you guys. Let's tell it OK. And under the options here, we're going to pick out hard mix. So that gives us an interesting perspective on Mr. Einstein. So now we're going to create a new adjustment layer, which is going to be black and white. So here's our adjustment layer. And scroll down or up, however it works for you, and we'll find black and white. Okay, so there's our black and white layer. So we're going to adjust the blues and the magentas to match all the other settings we have on the side. So we're going to make this blue a 40%. And we're going to make this magenta a 60%. Okay, and now we're good with that. Now we're going to continue creating adjustment layers. So we're going to create a new adjustment layer. And this is a new function you guys haven't worked with before. It's called the gradient map. Well, here's the gradient map. It lives down here. And this brings up a gradient that we're going to adjust. And if we double click here, we get this gradient map. So we can adjust our sliders if you want. That one went the wrong way, so I'm going to go back. But you guys can experiment with this. But we're going to add some color to this gradient map. We're going to do that by clicking. So we get this new box, and then if we double click on our color selector, let's pick red came up, so let's try a red. Why not? And we want this to be at 40%. So let's put it at 40, the location. Now we're going to add another color. And let's remember our color wheels. We'll go with a green. That'll be fine. And we'll put this location at 60%. Okay. So now we've got some interesting colors going on. And now we're going to create a smart image on our Albert Einstein layer. And do that by double clicking convert to smart object. Okay, so now it has this little image in the side. And we have our smart object. And once we get with the smart object, we're going to go up to a new filter. And that filter is up at the top. We're going to go to filter and we're going to find stylize. Then we're going to go to oil paint. So you can see up in this box what happens. This is going to reflect what's happening in the oops, I hope that so all right. So we have our oil paint, and let's move these sliders around. You can see it's kind of slow catching up. Keep the lighting. We're going to turn the lighting off for this particular part. Hit preview. Now we can really see what's going on here. That's a little bit too much. Let's go back here. So just experiment with these sliders. Yeah, let's try turn the lighting on. That gives us more detail in the hair, which I kind of like. So we're going to tell it okay. Okay, so now that we have our oil paint, we're going to go back to the top menu and we're going to choose image. And we're going to go to adjustments and we're going to adjust the shadows and highlights. Shadows and highlights. So again, you guys just mess around with this, with these features to see what you like. Here, show more options. We can adjust color. You can adjust the midtones. Okay. Kind of like that. So I'm going to tell it okay. And now we're going to go back and we're going to add another oil painting layer. So we're just going to go right up to our filter and we're going to go to stylize in oil paint. And see how that changed? Now we can change, we can add all kinds of new functions on here. Turn the lighting off on this one if we want. I kind of like it though. Tell it okay. And then basically that's what we're working with. I'll turn my bottom layer back on. Changes how things look. I kind of like that. So this is our Albert Einstein. I just want you guys to get familiar with different ways to work in Photoshop. And there'll be a PDF with this. And as always, when you finish completing this assignment, then you're going to go out and you're going to get your own image and apply these effects.